Tommy spared Manuel's life in Landman episode 6, and there are important reasons why. Landman episode 5 saw Manuel, Antonio, and their other pals jump Cooper in his trailer, leaving the episode on a cliffhanger. Cooper, who'd been helping Ariana with tasks around the house following the death of her husband, refused to stay away from her after warnings. Luckily, the subsequent episode revealed Cooper to be alive, and Landman's episode 6 ending saw Tommy going after Manuel as revenge. Billy Bob Thornton plays Tommy Norris in Landman's cast, and if the show's first 6 episodes have demonstrated anything, it's that he's not going to back down to anyone. No matter how tough Manuel seemed, Tommy is tougher, and he brought his friends along with Sheriff Joburg to give his son's assailants a beating before arresting them. Tommy makes his threats loud and clear, though it may have come as a shock to some that Manuel walked out of there alive. There's a calculated reason for this. Tommy killing Manuel would create bigger problems. A murder is much harder to cover up. Tommy may have the law on his side, as Sheriff Joburg knows how important the oil company's crisis management executive is to the general well-being of the area. However, there are limits to what he can allow. Cooper's assault was already an ongoing crime that had caught attention, and the sheriff wanted to make an arrest to conclude the case. Making arrests benefits his standing with county officials and the general public, so it's mutually beneficial for Tommy to do the work for him. If Tommy murdered someone, that'd be a bigger problem to deal with. Not even considering Tommy's other growing work issues that have brought a lawyer to town, murder isn't as easy to get away with as TV shows, like Yellowstone, will make it seem. The sheriff would have a local PR crisis to handle. Tommy would have to lay low due to the threat of potential retribution from Manuel's friends and family, and several people would have been witnesses to it. Killing Manuel would have been a mess, and sending him to prison for an expected 30 years is terrible enough of a punishment. Are Cooper and Tommy's issues over now? Issues with Manuel are over, at least. Billy Bob Thornton's Tommy looking intensely at Coop in the hospital in Landman episode 2. Manuel seemed to be the core of the group that beat up Cooper, so they shouldn't be a threat going forward. Antonio was scarred from getting beat up by Boss, and Sheriff Joburg could easily handle the guys from the other crew off-screen. At this point, Cooper and Tommy seem to be in the clear. Tommy still has his company issues to deal with, but none of them are connected to the situation in Cooper's crew. As for Cooper individually, Tommy seems to think he attracts problems, and thus far, it's proven to be true. Cooper and Ariana's relationship is the next potential problem for him. Now that he's dealt with the external factor, he'll need to reckon with the internal part. Though they've kept matters platonic so far, Cooper and Ariana undoubtedly have some romantic feelings beginning to develop. As Tommy warns, Ariana is in a particularly vulnerable state, and with Cooper being as naive as he often is, this could end up being a rather explosive combination. They may be fine for now, but if Taylor Sheridan's TV shows are any indicator, this relationship could take a turn for the worse at any time. Tommy still has much bigger concerns than Manuel. The cartel is going to be a problem. An oil derrick and pump illuminated by the rising sun in Landman episode 4. Tommy has some massive problems to deal with, and the Manuel incident is just a bump in the constantly challenging road for him. Landman episode 1 saw a truck plane explosion that involved cartel goods, and episode 5 saw the cartel show up at an oil field demanding compensation for their lost product. Tommy, obviously unable to provide them with what they're looking for, made enough threats to scare them away temporarily, but they'll be back soon enough. Not to mention, the oil rig explosion in episode 1's ending has Tommy managing a publicity crisis for Monty's company, and he's still $500,000 in debt. With 4 episodes left to go in the season, Tommy's problems are still accumulating, and though having Manuel arrested is a temporary win, Landman's remaining time could see everything else come crashing down on him. Monty probably won't be the one to take the fall for either of the major crises facing his company, making Tommy the perfect candidate.